Good day everyone, we are Group 2 and we will be discussing the Chapter 3 entitled The Use of Design Thinking. So the learning objectives are the learner shall be able to define the design thinking, illustrate the design thinking process, combine storytelling with the design thinking process, and also adapt observation and insight in the design thinking process, design interviews in the design thinking process, and lastly, would be prepare experiments in the design thinking process. Now let's start the chapter 3. What is design thinking? Design thinking is an approach of problem solving that aims to transform both simple and complex problems into innovative solutions. It has become widely recognized because of its role in the success of major companies around the world. It focuses on matching customers' needs with practical strategies and converting insights into meaningful business value. Design thinking combines desirability, feasibility, and market viability, creating solutions that are useful, achievable, and sustainable. Above all, empathy is considered the foundation of design thinking because understanding the people is essential in creating effective business. As David Kell said, the founder of IDEO, the main tenet of being design thinking is empathy for the people you are trying to design for. Now let us first understand the core principles of design thinking. So the first principle is human centricity and empathy, which means putting people and their needs first rather than solely focusing on the technology. The second is collaboration, which brings people together, different perspectives and ideas. Diverse viewpoints often leads to better and more effective solutions. Then the third is ideation, which encourages generating as many idea as much as possible to maximize the innovation. Then the fourth is experimentation and iteration, which involves creating prototypes, testing them, and continuously improving based on the feedback of the people. Then lastly is the design thinking promotes a bias towards action, emphasizing real-world engagement and immediate implementation rather than just planning. These principles work together to create practical and user-focused solutions. To better understand the design thinking, let us first look at his history. So during 1950s and 1960s, the concept emerged from engineering and architecture. Then in 1969, Herbert Simon introduced the idea of design as a problem-solving science through his book The Science of Artificial. Then in 1970s, design thinking evolved to combine human needs and business goals and technology. Then in 1991, the company IDEO was founded and helped popularize the design thinking in businesses and innovation. Then during the modern era, the Stanford University formalized the well-known 5 stages model of design thinking. Then today, design thinking is widely applied to global organization by Google to create products and improve services and solve challenges effectively.
Now, let's move on to the design thinking process based sa framework na binuo ng Hazel Platter Institute of Design at Stanford. This model has 5 stages: the empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. The most important concept that we have to remember sa diagram na ito ay ang pagiging flexible at non-linear ng proseso. Gaya na makikita ninyo sa mga dotted at looping na arrows, hindi ito isang straight line na checklist. Ang mga arrow na ito ay nagpapakita na ang testing ay pwedeng mag-create ng mga bagong idea. Ang mga prototype will help to form new insights to change the problem. At ang mga test mismo ay tumutulong para mas ma-define pa natin o malaman pa ng gusto ang totoong issue ng mga users. Ano nga ba ang mga phases na ito? Phase 1 is the empathize, kung saan ang focus natin is to research about sa totoong pangangailangan ng ating mga users. Sa empathy phase, it is important to settle down our personal assumptions o yung hula upang mas mapag-aralan at lumalim pa ang pangunawa natin sa actual na experience at environment ng tao. In this way, mas makakasigurado tayo na ang product na gagawin natin ay talagang sasagot sa kanilang mga pangailangan. Meron ditong 4 na paraan for us to gather data from our users. So, yung una ay ang empathy interviews para mas malaman natin ang kanilang kwento. So, from the word itself, interview, mag-ask tayo ng questions for us to gather data about themselves. Then, ikalawa ay ang immersion at observation. sa kanilang natural na kapaligiran. So, from the word itself, observation, pupunta tayo sa lugar and um, we are going to use our sight sense. Then, ikatlo ay ang pag-oobserba sa mga extreme users para makita yung pambihirang diskarte o yung workarounds na hindi ginagawa ng mga normal users. At ang pang-apat is to ask what are the actions, paano nila ito ginagawa at bakit nila ito ginagawa. Then sa pamamagitan nito, pag-uusisa kung ano yung ginagawa ng tao, paano nila ito tinatapos, at ano yung mga motivation nila sa likod nito. Mas madali nating madidiscover yung kanilang mas malalim na emotion and yung real motivation nila sa kanilang business. Next, to organize ng maayos ang napakaraming data from interviews and observation, ginagamit natin yung tool na tinatawag na empathy map. Ano nga ba yung empathy map? Ang empathy map ay may 4 na quadrants na nag-organize ng information in systematic way. First is yung say quadrant. Dito, nilalagay natin o nililista yung mga direct na sinasabi o quotes ng users from our interview para siyang yung assessment data sa ating nursing process. Then, ikalawa, yung think quadrant. Para sa mga bagay na naiisip o nararamdaman nila but not expressed really. It can be through written or spoken. So, next, ikatlo ay ang do quadrant na nagtatala ng mga physical actions na na-observe natin mismo mga interviewers sa kanila. So, para siyang yung objective doon sa assessment. At yung pang-apat ay ang field quadrant kung saan sinusulat natin dito yung yung kanilang malinaw na emotional state. Katapos nating ma-map out ang empathy data, dadalhin tayo nito sa phase 2, which is called the define phase, kung saan formalan nating inilalahad ang mga pangangailangan at problema ng ating mga users. The first step in the define phase is to know yung main need ng mga users. So, yung problems nila that can be given a solution at yung mga nakuha nating insights upang makabuo ng isang actionable at human-centered problem statement. And under this phase, we have 7 guidance to form right way. Dito, pinapatibay natin ang good aspect sa pamamagitan ng pagpapalaki ng benefits and inaalis natin dito yung mga negative aspects sa pamamagitan ng pagtanggal ng friction o yung mga sagabal. So we look for the opposite para makakita tayo ng mga bagong opportunities. We tend to ask questions, yung mga lumang assumptions para mas validate pa natin yung katotohanan. Dito, tinutukoy din yung mga hindi inaasahang resource na pwedeng makatulong sa paglutas ng problema. Gumagawa ng analogy para mas magkaroon tayo ng creative when it comes to innovation. At hinihimay-himay natin yung mga problema into a smaller one para mas madali natin silang masuri. Ngayon, let's move on to the next phase, which is ideate. Challenge assumptions and construct ideas. Dito, yung mga entrepreneurs o designers is nag-explore na ng iba't ibang alternative perspective upang makahanap ng mga makabagong solusyon para sa problemang tinutukoy natin doon sa define stage. Meron tayo ditong 3 pangunahing technique na pwede natin gamitin. Una ay ang brainstorm, isang relax at malayang process ng pagbuo ng idea kung saan ang lahat ng participants ay pwedeng magbahagi ng mga creative and unique solutions without fear of judgment. Next is yung brainwrite. From the word write, so dito, isa siyang mas structured na proseso kung saan yung each members is isinusulat nila yung kanilang idea individually. And then after, ipapasa nila ito sa iba pang nilang kasama upang dagdagan or palawigin or palawakin yung idea. Then next is yung worst possible idea. So dito, isa siyang technique na ginagamitan ng reverse thinking. Next is scamper method. Ito ay isang structured ideation method where we look for innovation sa pamamagitan ng pagbabago ng mga existing ideas using substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and reverse. So yung una is yung substitute. This technique is yung pagpapalit ng ilang parte ng mga concept, product, o yung process mismo para mas mapaganda pa ito sa tulong ng pag-test ng iba't ibang alternatibo. Then next is yung combine. From the word itself, combine, pinagsasama-sama natin dito yung mga magkakaibang idea, process, and product para makabot tayo ng mas effective solution. Next is adapt. Ang ibig sabihin nito ay ang pag-a-adjust ng isang kasalukuyang solution para magkasya or mas umakma pa sa paglutas ng bago o mga iba pang problema. Then, modify. Sa modification, sa parting ito, binabago natin o pinapalaki pa natin ang ilang bahagi ng isang concept para makakuha tayo ng mga bagong insights o kaya ay mapataas yung halaga nito. Then, next is put to another use. So, ginagamit o ina-apply natin ng isang idea, yung product o yung process sa ibang paraan na malayo sa kanyang original na layunin. Then, next is to eliminate. Tinatanggal natin ang mga hindi naman kailangang steps o elemento upang mas mapataas ang efficiency at mabawasan ang mga masasayang na resources. And lastly is reverse. So, dito inaayos natin yung mga original na concept para mas makakuha pa tayo ng panibagong perspective at insights from our users.
So, a prototype is used to show a visualization of what the product will look like along with its functionality. So, this stage is experimental because this is where we test the ideas. So, for example, in this Alcansha, so for the traditional ones, it requires us to manually insert the money, but to make it more innovative, merong inad na button sa taas para kapag pinindot, it automatically pulls the money inside. Also, in prototyping, it allows the users to give feedback para malaman na rin where it lacks and what needs improvements such as yung color or yung functionality. And based sa evaluations, pwedeng ma-improve or pwedeng ma-reject ang isang product kapag hindi niya na-meet ang concern ng magiging target customers. So, for the benefits of the prototype, first is the timely feedback. So, with this, we can identify the strengths, the weaknesses, and the area that needs improvement throughout the development process. So, second is the prompt changes saves more time and money. So, the earlier we identify what needs to be revised in the product, is the more we save on the time and money spent developing the final product. Third is validation prior to the development. So, it means bago i-launch ang isang product, kailangan niya muna mag-undergo sa iba't ibang testing para sa kanyang functionality and overall appearance para ma-ensure na everything is working properly to avoid any issues bago siya ilabas sa masa. So lastly is the user research and user testing. So with this, we can understand better kung ano ba talaga yung kailangan na magiging target customers natin. So for example, kailangan nila ng isang medicine reminder app. So with this, pwede tayo mag-add ng alarms, na schedules, na medications list, and by letting the users test it, malalaman natin kung ano ba yung dapat nating i-add, katulad ng how often they should take their medicine in a day. So, malalaman natin kung ano yung kailangan natin ma-improve para maging mas useful ang product natin sa masa. So let's now proceed to different types of prototype. So first we have here the low fidelity prototype. So it is a simple paper-based prototype that shows the structure or the layout of the product, and it is commonly used for brainstorming without focusing on the design details such as the colors, the fonts, and the animations. And second is the medium fidelity prototype. So, unlike sa low fidelity na paper-based, ito naman, it is a digital wireframe that is closer to the final product. And ang tanging kulang na lang dito ay yung polished na visual design, katulad nga ng colors, ng font, ng pictures, and such. And this, the users can navigate between the screens para matest yung basic flows kung nag-work ba siya properly bago i-add yung pinaka-design ng mismo product. And lastly is the high fidelity prototype. Ang high naman, ito yung pinaka-detailed and interactive type of the product, and nandito na lahat ng mga designs such as yung colors, the animations, yung pictures nga, and it is commonly used for testing and presentation. A prototype serves as the foundation for the minimum viable product, and their difference is that a prototype is used to test for the ideas, for the designs, while the MVP is a concept from Eric Rice's Lean Startup, and it is already a real working product with essential features. So it will be released to the actual users para ma-evaluate nila kung applicable ba talaga to sa real world, and if people will actually use it every day. So next is the testing. So it is the stage where the improved product is being checked in real life use. So yung mga actual users, tinitignan nila kung gumagana ba yung mga icons or if they can navigate through the screens, the notification, the storage, and such. And yung mga designers naman, on the other hand, they can gather feedback from the actual users and doon malalaman nila on what to improve and what to add doon mismo sa product na gagawin nila. And if the product meets the user's needs, it can proceed to the production, and if not, they can revise it and test it again hanggang sa maging applicable siya in real life use. Stories come from people and their experiences, which can inspire ideas and solutions to the problems. So, through storytelling, we can understand better the user's needs. Kung gusto ba nila ng app for their entertainment or delivery app dahil malayo sila sa mga pamilihan and such. And through storytelling also, we can have an opportunity to hear feedbacks from the actual users, and these feedbacks can serve as the foundation for the repetitive process for the prototype para mas lalong mag-improve and maging swak doon sa mismong concern ng magiging target customers natin. So let's now proceed to the elements of the storytelling. So first we have here the domain or the what. So this is the main business problem that an entrepreneur wants to solve, such as lack of convenient ways to save money. So next is the players or the who. So these are the people involved in the business idea. So kasama na dito yung pinaka-business owner and yung kanyang mga staff, and also yung kanyang target customers such as the students and the workers who wants to save the money. And lastly is the story flow. So this is how the users experiences the problem and the solution. For example, they find it hard to save money because they feel na gusto nilang bilhin ang lahat. So as a solution, you can invent something or alkansya that locks up the saving, or meron siyang monitor ng kung gaano yung nagagastos ng consumer, or kung mas malaki pa ba yung naipapasok niya dun sa mismong alkansya niya kesa sa nagagastos niya.
Now let's move on to the storytelling and the design process. So, ang main idea nito is for us to create a solution na nakabase sa needs ng users or consumers. So, kailangan silang isama sa design thinking process. Dito, pumapasok ang storytelling dahil through stories and experience ng users, mas naiintindihan natin yung needs and problems nila. Storytelling can be applied using the following step. Dito, pumapasok ang design process. Design process use divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking means marami yung ideas na ina-explore, while convergent thinking naman means to refine and choose the best solution. Now we have 4 stages. First is understand. Dito, inaalam muna natin kung ano talaga yung problem. So we engage and observe the people na naaapektuhan para maintindihan ang kanilang sitwasyon. Second is define. Pagkatapos makalap ang information, dito natin malinaw na dinadefine kung ano yung problem na dapat masolusyonan. Third is the develop. Sa stage na to, nag-generate na tayo ng iba't ibang ideas at possible solution. And fourth is deliver. Dito, tinatest na natin yung solution at pipili na tayo ng pinaka-effective at practical. Now let's discuss problem framing. Problem framing is an early stage in the design process that focuses on understanding and clearly defining the problem that needs to be solved. So sa stage na to, gumagamit tayo ng storytelling para malaman yung experience and thoughts ng mga consumer. Storytelling is very vital to empathize with consumers about their problems as they relate their pain points. Now for the solution framing, it takes place during the solution definition and prototyping stages, where kapag may mga possible na solutions na, dito na natin tinatest kung alin yung pinaka-effective from the user perspective. Storytelling plays an important role by enabling two-way communication between designers and consumers, helping verify whether yung solution ba is nami-meets yung needs ng user. And then, the solution implementation. It focuses on gathering consumers' feedback after a product or service is launched to improve future versions. So ang storytelling helps the designers na maintindihan kung paano ginagamit ng mga consumer ang isang product in their daily lives, which provides a valuable insight for enhancement. A good example is a Coca-Cola's happiness machine campaigns, where a modified vending machine surprised college student with unexpected rewards. Hidden cameras captured their genuine reactions, joy, and generosity. Next is the observation and insights. These are essential in design thinking because understanding what consumers think and feel helps create products and services that meets their needs. Dito, hindi agad naghahanap ng solution. Instead, ang unang ginagawa is alamin muna yung root cause ng problems sa pamamagitan ng observation and interviews. By doing this, it provides a valuable information about people's behaviors, needs, and experience. Now, in research, there are three types that can be used. First is the generative research. Here, nadidiscover yung mga bagong opportunities and mas naiintindihan natin kung ano yung needs ng mga users. It focuses on discovering ideas and possibilities for the future. Next is evaluative research. It uses repeated testing and refinement to improve designs and also focuses on generating and developing ideas for the future. And lastly is validating research. It confirms assumptions and measures how well products or services work. It focuses on what is happening in the present rather than exploring new. Now let's discuss the curiosity and insight. Curiosity is the core element in digging into design thinking. Being a keen observer is vital to be curious on knowing why things are the way they are, why things seems not to work, or why people act the way they do. Because of curiosity, mas marami tayong natutuklasan at hindi tayo agad nag-judge or nagko-conclude. While insight development is yung pag-analyze ng mga information na nakalap natin from observation. So kung curiosity is to discover an information, insight is for us to understand and give meaning to those information. In short, curiosity gathers information while insight gives meaning to those information. Developing observation as a skills requires a lot of practice. Habang mas madalas tayong nag-observe, mas nagiging mahusay tayo sa pagkuha ng information and pag-identify ng patterns. Because of this, nakakabuo tayo ng mas meaningful na insight na nagagamit natin to create an innovative and effective solutions sa mga problems. In simple terms, the more we practice observing, the better we become at understanding people's needs and finding new ideas to solve problems. That is why we have here observation techniques. Based from perspective of Bradley, there are 9 dimensions for observational purposes. First is space. This is the physical layout or places. Actor, people that are involved. Activity, mga ginagawa ng mga tao or activities that happens every day. Object, mga bagay na nakikita sa paligid. At, this is the specific actions na ginagawa ng tao. Event, a set of related activities that people carry out. Time, the sequencing of events that take place. Goal, the things that people are trying to accomplish. And lastly is the feeling. These are the emotions that felt and expressed.
AIEOO is an observation tool developed by Rick Robinson. It helps entrepreneurs understand customers by observing their behaviors. So what does it mean? A stands for activity. It means what are the people doing. E for environment, where they are doing it. I for interaction, how they interact with people or products. O for objects, for the things they used. And U are the people that being observed. For a simple explanation or example, if I want to open a coffee shop, I can observe students in cafe. Their activity is studying. The environment is the cafe itself. Their interaction includes talking with their friends or using laptops. The objects are the coffee, phones, and notebooks that they are using, and the users are the student itself. An interview is a research method where entrepreneur directly talks to their customers to learn about their needs, experience, opinions, and problem. Compared to surveys, interview provide deeper and more detailed information. So, what are the interview techniques? First is make the interviewee relax. Make the participant feel comfortable before starting because relaxed people tend to give more honest answer. So how we'll be doing that? We can start by friendly greeting or small talk. The next thing is the interview should be on time and heading in the right direction. The interviewer should prepare questions and they stay focused on the topic. Example, if discussing online shopping, avoid unrelated topics. Third is concentrate on the consumer and not on the documentation itself. Focus on listening than constantly taking notes. For example, we can pay attention to the customer response instead of jotting down the things they say more than we listen to them. So, fourth is ask open-ended question. Ask questions that encourage detailed answer instead of yes or no response. So, the example of these are the what challenges do you experience when ordering food online? This question tends to broad out and explain much more the side of the interviewee on how or what are the challenges they experience when ordering food online. Listen and refrain from talking. Allow the participant to speak freely without interruption. For example, wait for them to finish answering before asking another question. The next is encourage but not influenced. Encourage participants to share more without suggesting a probable answer. Next is follow one's feeling and drill down. Ask follow-up questions to gain deeper insights. Like for example, the customer says or states that the delivery time takes too long. The interviewee can have a follow-up questions like, why do you think that happens? So next is repeat to confirm. This is to reinstate important points to make sure that you understood the interviewee answers correctly. And lastly is to thank the customer at the end of the process. At the end of the interview, politely and thank the participants. For example, thank you for your time and for the feedback. Effective interview questions for designers. The first thing is open-ended question. Open-ended question encourage people to share what is important to them and provide detailed response. They allow respondents to express their thoughts freely with fewer restriction, and these are the following types of an open-ended question. First is explorative. Explorative questions help entrepreneurs discover new information about a person's experience and behaviors. Next is affective question. Affective questions focuses on feelings, emotions, and attitudes. Next is reflective. Reflective questions reflect or encourage participants to think deeply about their experiences. Next is probing question. Probing question asks for additional details about the previous answer. And next is the analytical questions. Analytical questions examine cause and relationship between events or the roots of the problem. And lastly is clarifying question. Clarifying question help ensure that the interviewer correctly understands the participant. Close-ended question. Close-ended question requires specific answer, usually answerable by yes, no, or a choice from a given option. Why is it important? Because they provide quick and direct information. For example, is do you use a food delivery application? This question is a type of a close-ended question because this question can be easily answered by yes or no. So, after gathering information through interviews, entrepreneurs can test their ideas through experiment. First, what is experiment? Experiments are used to determine whether an idea or a hypothesis actually works instead of relying on assumptions. Entrepreneur, Entrepreneurs test their ideas and observe the result. Next is, what is an hypothesis? Hypothesis is an educated guess or assumption that can be tested through research and experimentations. So, example of hypothesis is, I think students will buy affordable school supply bundles if they are sold near the campus. Art and science applied to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is both an art and an science. Entrepreneurship as an art because entrepreneurs use creativity, imagination, and innovation to create new products, service, and solution. For example, creating a unique coffee shop concept that attracts students. Entrepreneurship as science, it is considered a science because entrepreneurs use research, evidence, testing, and analysis when making decisions. Example, conducting surveys and analyzing customer feedback before launching a product. The key point is that the art side generates the idea while the science side tests whether those ideas will work. The three basic types of experiments. The three basic types of experiments is 1. Trying out new experiences. In this type of experiment, the entrepreneur expose themselves to new environment, cultures, industries, or activities. Why is it important? It helps them to discover new opportunities that unmet customers' needs. For example, an entrepreneur visits different cafes to observe how customers order and spend their time. Next is taking apart product, process, and ideas. This involves studying and analyzing existing product or services to understand how they work. Why is it important? It helps the entrepreneur identify the strength, weakness, and possible improvement. An example is a phone case seller examines their competitors' products to understand what features some customers prepare or what they need. Next is testing ideas through pilots and prototype. So, first thing we're going to do is explain the pilots and prototype. Prototype is the early version of a product, while the pilot is the small-scale trial. Why is it important? It allows entrepreneurs to test ideas before investing their significant portion of time and money. For example, before launching a mobile application, the entrepreneur creates a basic version and asks a small group of users to test it. The scientific method provides a systematic process for developing and improving business idea. So, how this method work? First is asking a question. The entrepreneur starts by identifying a customer problems or needs. For example, why do students struggle to find affordable printing services near the campus? Next is to research about the subject. The entrepreneur gathers information about customers, competitors, trends, opportunities, and the challenges that can be, or the expected challenges. Example is conducting surveys and observe existing printing shop. After that, the entrepreneur create a hypothesis. The entrepreneur develops an educated assumption that can be tested. Example is, if affordable printing packages are offered, will more students use the service? After that, the entrepreneur experiment to test the hypothesis. The entrepreneur tests the idea through survey, prototypes, beta testing, or small-scale trial. For example, the entrepreneur will offer discounted printing packages for 1 week. So the next is assesses the data and conclude. The entrepreneur analyzes the result and determine whether the hypothesis is supported. For example, if the sales increase significantly, the hypothesis may be confirmed or correct. And lastly is publish result and call others to expand. The entrepreneur shares the findings, gather feedback, and improve the idea further. For example, ask customers for suggestions, and use their feedback to improve the service.
So now let's jump into the chapter 4, which is the building business models. We have here first our learning objectives that the learners shall be able to, okay, we must read it all by ourselves, especially understanding the concept of a business model. Business model. Ito yung paraan kung paano kumikita ang isang negosyo. Pinapakita nito kung paano gumagawa ng value and binibigay ito sa mga customers and we benefit from this. Parang ito yung plan or guide ng isang negosyo para maging successful and handle nila yung mga challenges. And also according to Peter Drucker, sinasagot ng business models ang tatlong questions na to. Sino ang customer? Kanino binibenta ang produkto o serbisyo? Anong value yung nakukuha nila from this? Ano yung mga benefit or solution na binibigay sa kanila? Paano ito mabibigay ng kumpanya sa tamang gastos? And how they earn habang affordable pa rin yung service and yung product. Value proposition. What makes a product service valuable to the customers? For example, kung affordable ba or high quality yung isang product na bibilihin. And target customers who will buy the product or service. From the word itself, target, may mga specific person na nililook forward itong bagay na to. Kunwari, yung product natin is yellow paper. Sino nga bang target customers ng yellow paper? It will be automatically students. And key resources, the assets need to operate the business. Ito naman yung mga nagpapagana like, pwede nating sabihin somehow, mga machines, mga appliances sa isang store. Kunwari, equipment, or yung mga tao na rin. And revenue streams, the sources of income or profit of the business. These are the sales of coffee and snacks. So, ano nga ba yung mga importance ng isang business model? These are the importance of a business model, but to summarize it all, a business model serves as a guide kung paano ba tatakbo ang isang negosyo. It helps the company to understand how to earn a profit, what are the customers needing, and how to provide value to them. It also supports business growth by giving a clear direction for future plans and decisions. Traditional business models. Manufacturer. It converts raw materials into finished products that will be sold in the market. For example nito is yung Ajinomoto Alaska Milk Corporation. Distributor. It buys products from manufacturers and resells them to retailers and customers. And ang halimbawa nito is auto dealers. Retailer sells products directly to consumers for personal use. Ang best example natin for this is yung Best Buy, Walmart, or internationally yung Target. Franchise. It operates a business using another company brand, system, and trademark for a fee. Dito, kailangan magbayad for a business company brand. And ang best example natin for this is yung kunwari mga potato corner, yung Jollibee, kailangan nilang magbayad para makuha nila yung business na yon. And brick and mortar. It is a physical store where customers buy products or services face-to-face. Ang example natin for this is yung grocery store, banks, dental clinics. Bricks and clicks. Ito naman, it combines online ordering with the physical store for pick-up or shopping. Ang example natin for this is Divisoria kasi sa Divisoria, pwede siyang maging online selling minsan, and madalas na ginagawa ng mga tao is pinupuntahan talaga nila yon. So, it's a combination of online and physical store. Then, direct sales. Products are sold directly to the customers through a personal interaction, usually commission-based sales. Ang best example natin for this, yung mga kilalang magazine, like yung Avon, yung Boardwalk. High-touch business model. It focuses on personalized customer service to build trust and long-term relationship. Ang best example for this is hair salons. Now we have here the family-owned business. Ito ay isang business na owned and managed ng mga family members, kung saan sila rin yung may control sa major business decisions. And madalas, nakafocus sila sa long-term success and pagpapatuloy ng family legacy para sa susunod na generation. Ang best example for this is SM Investments Corporation, wherein alam naman nating lahat na nagsimula siya kay Henry C. and na-pass down siya sa mga anak niya, and sila na yung nagpalago lalo ng SM Investments Corporation. Also, pwede nating isama yung Robinson's Retail Holdings Incorporated, wherein alam natin na family-owned business sila. And that's all for the building business models.
So now we are going to be talking about the 18 modern business model. To start, we have number 1, the nickel and dime, that offers a low base price na makaka-attract sa mga customers. However, after going through the process of claiming this discount, lalabas yung mga additional service fees na kailangan bayaran if we have the piso sale ng Cebu Pacific that they offer annually or quarterly. Merong mga piling flight na ino-offer sila that could give or that could be on sale for piso. However, after claiming the piso fare, there will be additional fees for the service charge, for the taxes, of course, na kailangan bayaran pa rin ng mga customer. However, unang kita mo pa lang na piso, of course, you will be attracted to buy those flights. So next is the freemium offered by Zoom, Spotify, Dropbox, and many more. So they openly serve a basic service for free, but if you want to access the premium features ng mga apps or services nito, kailangan magbayad doon sa company na yon. Next is the subscription. When the customer pays a fixed amount na napag-agrihan sa isang date, sa monthly or quarterly, to access the service. Like when we subscribe to Netflix, hindi tayo makaka-access ng movies if we are not able to pay the monthly subscription na kailangan natin bayaran. So next is the fourth, e-commerce, or the online buying and selling from one product. Example is the Nike.com, that they sell yung yung mga products nila online. We also have Shein app na pwede nating i-download sa ating mga cellphones. So, it is about more clothes and fashion that they could sell sa isang kumpanya lang. So next is the aggregator, acts as the middleman that connects the customer to the service provider, in which the aggregator earns commission after it. So businesses like Airbnb and Uber uses this model. So we have known yung Airbnb, yung house, and then yung mga customer nila. The house would not be accessed by the customer without the app itself. So that is the business model of Airbnb as well as Uber. Next is the online marketplace. It is a literal marketplace because this platform is composed of multiple sellers, katulad ng Amazon and Alibaba Group. So, ano nga ba yung pinagkaiba ng online marketplace sa e-commerce? In online marketplace, it is composed of different sellers. In the Philippines, meron po tayong kilalang Lazada and Shopee that uses this business models. However, in e-commerce, it is from one brand only. Kanina nga napag-usapan natin that e-commerce is from one app, kumari Shein or Nike or any other brands that has a physical store. Next is the hidden revenue, which they allow free use to all, but the revenue comes from advertisement. So, if we use Google, Facebook, and Instagram, makakakita tayo ng mga advertisement from different apps, different stores na meron sila. So, if we are scrolling through social media, we could see those things. Next is the 8, data licensing or data selling. From the word itself, nagbibenta sila ng mga data and insight from people around the world in use for analysis or research or business decisions na pwedeng magamit ng iba pang mga tao or iba pang mga kumpanya. So, for our 9th, it is the agency-based na nagpo-provide ng special services to other businesses. It can be a firm or a company that gives business advices katulad ng Leo Burney Worldwide. Next is the affiliate marketing. May nakikita tayo sa TikTok na mga posts about support my affiliate, buy this product, or visit my profile link para makuha niyo kung saan ko ito nabili. So, this type of business model promotes products and services for them to earn commissions. So, businesses like NerdWallet, Capterra, and Wirecutter is known to use this model. Next is the drop shipping. Ito naman po is a model where the supplier ships the product directly to the customer. So, Doba and Aberlo are companies that uses drop shipping business model. 12 is the network marketing. It is a business model where independent representative sell products or services directly to the customer. Katulad po ng example po natin, na may representative is Avon. If you have encountered people or pwedeng kamag-anak or friends or mga kapitbahay na nagbibigay ng mga parang books with Avon na kung ano-ano yung mga binibenta nila. So, that is an example of a network marketing. So, for the 13th type is the crowdsourcing. So, in this model, they first gather idea from a large group of people so that they could produce a product or entertainment that could help them earn money. So, Wikipedia and YouTube is widely known to have this business model. Next is the blockchain. Katulad po ng ginagawa ng Bitcoin and Litecoin, they enable peer-to-peer interaction or transaction so that they can remove the needs for traditional financial institution katulad ng mga bangko or yung mga payments processor na pwedeng makabawas ng mga kita nila. So, next is the 15th, low touch. If we are able to visit IKEA, lalo na sa MOA na malaki yung IKEA na store nila doon, we can observe that they rely heavily on innovation and technology that could enhance the living ng mga customers. So, it attracts so many people to buy their products. Why? Because the company offers innovation, they offer something new, they offer something technology that could enhance the living well-being of a person, that could attract many people. Kasi sa mga panahon na ngayon, gusto na ng mga tao yung mga mabilis, yung mga madadali. So, with the help of the low touch or the technology, it attracts many customers for them to earn more money. So, the third to the last is the razor and blade. This is when the business core product is sold at a low price, but then it is a complementary product. So, examples are razor and replacement blades as well as the printers and ink cartridges. So, number 17, consulting. Consulting is also known as the seller of knowledge. So, because they provide expert advices and professional services, yung mga kita nila is from the fees or yung mga project contracts na nakakuha nila between two companies. It relies on specialized knowledge and expertise. So, examples of companies that uses this business model is the McKinsey and Company, Deloitte, as well as the Boston Consulting Group. So, it is more on advices, it is more on the specialized knowledge that one company could offer to another for them to help each other grow. So, next is lastly, the social enterprise. So, Social enterprise focuses more on the well-being of a community. So it combines business operation with social impacts. It generates profits na yung profit na yon i-address yung mga community needs. So it attracts many customers because it is for a cause. This kind of business model attracts customer dahil merong magagawa yung business na yon. It is for them to help the community's well-being. So examples are Bayani Brew, Coffee for Peace, and the Litter of Light. Now, lastly, we're going to be talking about the importance of the business model. Ano nga bang significant nito kung bakit kailangan or mas matutulungan nito ang mga kumpanya? Number one, it provides a clear picture of the business model. It helps identify opportunities and weakness. It supports planning and decision making. And lastly, it allows businesses to adjust strategies when needed. It is an overview look of the business that one have. It helps identify kung ano nga ba yung kailangan i-improve, ang kailangan tanggalin, kung anong kailangan gawin para mas mag-grow and mas lumago ang isang business.
Now we will be moving on to key partners. Key partners are the network of suppliers and partners that may provide the business model more effectively. So basically, these are just the people that a business will be partnering with so that they can optimize the use of resources, form new resource streams, or lessen risk on important business decisions. And key partners has different types. The first type is the strategic alliances. It is an arrangement between non-competitors that help each other perform an equally advantageous task while retaining their independence. So, for example, there is a new cafeteria business partnering with several coffee bean suppliers. So basically, the cafeteria business and the coffee bean suppliers are independent. However, they are partnering so that they could have a more successful business. And take note that they are non-competitors. They are just forming alliances. So the next is co-opetition. This is an agreement between competitors to share risk and work together to promote their shared industry and gain new users. So example, there are two rival food delivery apps. This is Delivery App A and Delivery App B. So they will collaborate on a campaign to encourage more people to use delivery services. So basically, these are just two competitors that are joining together and they have both a benefit in what they're doing. Then the next is joint ventures. This is when two businesses combine resources and agree to form a completely different company because of mutual interest. This can be such as entering a new market or a geographic area. A good example is when a cheese company and a milk manufacturer forms a new cheese manufacturing company in another location. So basically, there is also a alliance somewhat between a cheese company, which is a different company from a milk manufacturer, but they have a mutual interest, which is forming a new cheese manufacturing company. And this is common in businesses that will create a new business in another location, but now they have formed a joint venture. Then the last type is the buyer-supplier relationships. This is the most common type of partnerships that ensure a dependable supply of materials for the buyer and a stable customer for the supplier. So basically, these are just like suke because you have a stable customer and the customer already has a certain business where they get their supplies from. So example is a bakery regularly purchasing flour from the same supplier under a long-term agreement. So our next is the key activities. Key activities are the most essential activities a company performs to achieve its value proposition and operate successfully. So in simple terms, key activities are just the most essential activities that a company is going to do for the business. There are different types of categories of key activities, and the first is marketing. This adds value by promoting products or services to create awareness and demand. Example is advertising a product or a new item on social media, as social media platforms can reach different audiences and different potential customers, thereby creating awareness and demand for the specific product. Next is sales. It focuses on selling products and or services, building customer relationships, finding solution to customer problems, and closing sales. So a common example for this is a salesperson, like what we see in malls, especially in the makeup section, wherein there are different salesperson, and then when we are searching for a makeup product, they will be recommending the best makeup based on the customer's needs. Then next is design. This involves creating designs for the product or services. So the company will be the one making the design, and they could be a manufacturer to manufacture the products. For example, in a clothing company, a specific company will create designs and they will be sending this to the manufacturing company so that they could produce the clothing product or material. Next is development. This adds value by developing products and services that may be customized according to customer needs. Example is a software company creating customized accounting software for businesses. So development is tailor fitting the product, or in our example, the accounting software to what the software company needs. It's just about fitting what the customer needs to your product. Then next is operations. It involves the manufacturing of products and delivery of services, often in large quantities and with high quality. So operations, we can connect factories with operations because this revolves around manufacturing products. Example is a car company manufacturing thousands of vehicles each year. Next, distribution. This focuses on reaching customers and delivering products or services to them. And distribution also refers to a continuous delivery of products or services to the customer. So a good example would be a repair shop providing warranty services for purchased items, because even after the buyer buys the service, there is a continuous offering of the product or services to the customer because of the warranty. Lastly is the customer experience. This involves customer service, consulting, and customer support to ensure customer satisfaction. So these customer experience can be easily linked to the services hotlines of different companies that we could contact whenever we need support and assistance. Moving on to key resources. Key resources are the most important assets. Take note, most important assets required to make a business model work. These allow a company to create and offer a value proposition, reach target markets, maintain customer relationships, and generate revenue. So from the word itself, resources, these are the resources that a company use so that they could have a successful business. And there are 4 blocks of key resources. The first is physical. These are tangible assets. And from the word itself, physical. So tangible assets a company uses to create its value proposition and operate effectively. These can mean the machines, equipments, the buildings, the vehicles, and manufacturing plants that the company has. Next is intellectual. From the term itself again, intellectual, the use of our brains. So intangible, non-physical resources that provide competitive advantage and support business operations. Intellectual includes brands, patents, proprietary knowledge, copyrights, partnerships, and customer knowledge. Next, human. These are employees and their skills, creativity, and expertise, which are often the company's most vital resources. So the human are considered the company's most vital resources because this is the workforce of the company. These include the customer service representative, the software engineers, and scientists as well. Lastly, financial. The financial assets and sources of funding that enable a business to operate and grow. Financial, from the term itself, it's the money of the company. Examples are cash, the lines of credit, and could also be employee stock option plans. Stock option plans, meaning like a stock of a company, could be given to an employee. And we could remember the blocks of the key resources by remembering the word PIHF, the letter PIHF rather. P stands for physical, I for intellectual, H for human, and F for financial. So the 4 blocks of key resources, PIHF. Now we have the customer value proposition. What is a customer value proposition? A customer value proposition is a statement of why customers should choose a company's product or service. We could indicate the benefits that a product provides or maybe the experience that the customer could gain from using a product or service. So, without a CVP, businesses are considered walking blindly in the market because compared to others with a CVP, they don't have a statement of why customers should choose their product or service. And in creating a CVP, we have factors to consider. So, the first is the functional value. This is the product or service solves a particular problem by being more convenient, easier to use, better, or more compatible than other alternatives. So for example, when we are choosing a clothing, we're going to buy a clothing, and we saw a wool sweater. So we are provided by the warmth of a wool sweater. So we see it as more comfortable than other clothing. So that is the functional value. Next is the emotional value. The product or service is attractive or meaningful to customers because of sentimental reasons, traditions, or the influence of people important to them. Example are local products. Local products have an emotional value to us Filipinos because it is within our tradition and we are supporting our own by means of buying these products. So that is what we call the emotional value. Third is the economic value. This is when the product or service provides financial advantage, saves time, conserves energy, or offers innovation. So economic value, examples are energy efficient appliances because these appliances saves time and conserves energy. Therefore, we these appliances provides financial advantages to the users. Next is symbolic value. The product or service is valuable because of the status, image, or the identity it gives the customer. A good example for symbolic value are brands like Chanel, Dior, because Hermes, because these brands have symbolic value and gives a person a specific high status or image when one is able to purchase these high-end products. So for a memory tip for the factors to consider in developing a CVP, we will just remember the word fees, FEES, functional value, emotional value, economic value, and symbolic value. We have different types of CVP. We have three. The first is the all benefits. So we have a table here. We will be tackling what they are consist of, what answers the customer questions, what it requires, and what is the potential pitfall for each of the type of CVP. So first is the all benefits. All benefits consist of all of the benefits that a customers receive from a marketing offering. So this answers the customer question, why should our firm purchase your offering? And it requires the knowledge of the own market offering. So all benefits refers to including all of the benefits in your CVP. It just lays out everything, all of the features all of the good features that your product is offering for the customer. However, there is a potential pitfall. It is the benefit assertion. So you may mention the benefit that customers don't actually care about. Next is a favorable point of difference. Favorable point of difference consists of all favorable points of difference a market offering has relative to the next best alternative. It answers the customer question, why should our firm purchase your offering instead of your competitors? And it requires knowledge of our own market offering and the next best alternative. So favorable point of difference is just like comparing the favorable points of your product from your competitors and indicating why the customer should buy from you instead of from them. However, this also has a potential pitfall. It is the value presumption. What is value presumption? This is assuming that customers value a particular feature or difference simply because the company thinks it's important. So this could be indicating some points of difference from other competitors that the customer really don't care about. Lastly is the resonating focus. It consists of the key point of difference whose improvement will deliver the greatest value to the customer for the foreseeable future. It answered the customer question, what is the most worthwhile for our firm to keep in mind about your offering? And it requires knowledge of how own market offering delivers superior value to customers compared with the next best alternative. Resonating focus is just about focusing on what the customer really needs and tailor fitting your product to what the customer needs and indicating the best features of how you could solve the problem of your customer by offering your product or your service. And the potential pitfall is that it requires customer value research. So the customer value research could take a lot of time, money, and effort from the company. And maybe sometimes the customer research could also be misunderstood. That's why it is a potential pitfall because even if you lend time, money, effort, if it is not done properly, the company may still misunderstand what customers truly value. So to summarize, all benefits is just indicating all of the benefits that the customer will get from your product. Favorable point of difference is comparing the favorable points of your product from your competitor and why the customer should buy from you and not from them. Resonating focus is just focusing on what the customer needs and offering them a solution for their problem.
Good day everyone! Today I will discuss the three important parts of the business model, the customer relationships, customer segments, and channels. First is the customer relationships. It refers to how a business builds and maintains connections with its customers. The goal is to attract new customers, keep existing customers, and encourage them to continue buying products or services. There are 6 types of customer relationships. First is the personal assistance. In personal assistance, customers communicate directly with a company representative. The representative helps customers before, during, and after the purchase through face-to-face service, phone calls, or emails. Second is the dedicated personal assistance. This is a stronger relationship where one employee is assigned to a specific customer. The employee provides personalized service over a long period. An example is a personal banker assigned to a bank client. Third is self-service. In self-service, customers do not interact directly with employees. Instead, the company provides tools and information so customers can solve their own needs. Fourth is automated services. Automated services combine self-service with technology. The system recognizes customers and provides personalized suggestions, order updates, or product recommendations. Fifth is the communities. Companies create online communities where customers can ask questions, share experience, and help one another. These communities also allow businesses to communicate more closely with customers. Sixth is the co-creation. Co-creation allows customers to participate in improving products or services. They may share ideas, write reviews, or suggest new features. This helps businesses create products that better meet customers' needs. To summarize, good customer relationships increase customer satisfaction, build loyalty, and help businesses grow. Now let's move on to customer segments. Customer segments are the different groups of people or organizations that a business wants to serve. Customers may be grouped according to their age, interests, lifestyle, income, or needs. Understanding these groups helps businesses offer the right products to the right customers. There are 5 types of customer segments. First is the mass. The mass serves a large group of customers with similar needs. The same product is offered to everyone with little or no customization. Niche. A niche focuses on a small group of customers with specific needs. Products are highly specialized and designed specifically for that group. Third is segmented. In a segmented, customers are divided into smaller groups with slightly different needs. The business creates different products or services for each group. Fourth is diversified. It serves two or more customer groups that have very different needs. The company offers different products for each group. Lastly, the multi-sided platform. It serves two or more customer groups that depends on each other. The business creates value by connecting these groups, and example of this includes online marketplaces and payment platforms. In short, identifying customer segments help businesses understand their customers and meet their needs more effectively. The last topic is channels. Channels are the ways a business communicates with customers and deliver its product or services. They help customers learn about the product, buy it, receive it, and get support after the purchase. There are 5 channel phases. First is the awareness. This is the stage where customers first learn about the product or service through advertising, social media, websites, or search engines. Second is evaluation. Customers compare products, read reviews, and decide whether the product is the best choice for them. Third is the purchase. At this stage, customer buys the product or service through a store, website, or online payment system. Fourth is the delivery. The business delivers the product or service to the customer. This may be through shipping services or digital delivery. Lastly, the after sales. It includes customer support, answering questions, handling complaints, and providing assistance after the purchase. There are 2 types of channels, the direct and indirect channels. The direct channels are owned and controlled by the business, such as its physical store, website, or sales team. They allow the business to communicate directly with its customer and usually provide higher profits. Next is the indirect channels. It uses partners such as wholesalers, retailers, or distributors to sell products. They help businesses reach more customers quickly but often result in lower profit margins. Overall, choosing the right channels helps businesses reach customers efficiently and provide a better customer experience.
Now po, let's proceed to the value proposition canvas, which was developed by Alexander Osterwalder. So, si Alexander Osterwalder po was a well-known business theorist and an entrepreneur. So, his goal po in creating this tool was to guarantee a proper fit between the product and the market. So, in other words po, yung VPC po, minimake sure niya po na yung product or service truly considers the values and needs of the customers. So, think of it po as a bridge. Ito po ay isang detailed connection between the customer segments and the value propositions of a business. And it is not just for a new product po because it can also be used to upgrade an existing offering or to develop an entirely new one. Sa value proposition Canva po, we have 2 main building blocks. First is the customer profile. So yung sa customer profile po, dyan po nakalagay yung gains, pains, and jobs to be done. So simply, ito po ay about sa sino nga po ba yung ating target customer. Then, there's the value proposition which has gain creators, pain relievers, and product and service. This is what are we going to offer to our customers. Now, let's proceed po sa customer profile. Yung customer profile po refers to the customer segments that the company will be serving with its product or service. So, it is important po to create a separate profile for each segment because each one po has its own distinct gains, pains, and jobs. Yung gains po, yun po yung mga expectations, yung desires, and while yung pains po, yun naman po yung mga na-experience ng mga customers natin na negative or mga frustration. While yung jobs po, sila po yung mga functional, social, and emotional tasks the customer tries to accomplish. So, sabi po, dito, the company needs to understand the customer's job and make assessment of their pains and gains. And before we create po yung customer profile, we must first evaluate what are called customer archetypes. Archetypes po are also known as the personas. Yung yung customer archetypes po were popularized by Steve Blank in his Lean Launchpad. Kasi dati po, yung mga companies, ginagamit lang po nila is dry demographic description like female, ages 25 to 35, and employed. Pero ngayon po kasi, with customer archetypes, nagkaroon na po tayo ng bagong descriptions like living or breathing people with personalities, habits, and emotions that the business can actually relate to and understand.
Now po, let's proceed to the customer gains. So, yung customer gains po, ito po yung nag-i-include ng all the expectations and needs of our customers. So, sa customer gains, we have 4 types po. First is the required gains. Ito po yung basic expectation po sa product or service na in-offer natin. Like for example po, bibili ka po ng telepono. So, ano po bang alam nyo na ginagamit ng telepono? So, sa telepono po, dapat ang telepono must be able to make call and receive calls, di ba? Pero kung yung telepono po ba is hindi niya po kayang gawin yun, bibili pa po ba kayo nun? Syempre hindi na po, di ba? So next po yung expected gains. Ito po yung mga ina-expect ng mga tao na meron sa product natin na kahit wala naman po yung features na yun, magagawa pa rin po ng product na yun yung trabaho niya. Like for example, sa cellphone. Hindi ina-expect po nila na ito po ay maging visually attractive and fashionable. Well, kahit hindi naman po siya visually attractive and fashionable, kaya pa rin na po niya mag-work. So next is number 3, the desired gains. Ito po yung mga most preferred and cherished gain by the customer. Kasi kapag meron po ikaw neto sa product mo or sa service mo, there's a high chance po that they'll be completely satisfied. Like for example, ikaw po ay may product na smartphone po ulit with having a seamless syncing with other device. So syempre, mas convenient yun sa ibang mga customers natin since they have a lot of choices po na pwedeng pag-connectan ng smartphone. Like example po kasi sa Apple, like sa Apple products, like especially sa iPhone, di ba? Yung para maging able ka to transfer pictures, di ba kailangan may AirDrop? And sa Android, Bluetooth, maraming choices. Pero sa Apple product po kasi, sa iPhone, kapag in-AirDrop, same pa rin yung quality. While sa iba po kasing phone, like for example, sa Messenger, sinad sa'yo via Messenger, di ba lumalabo yung quality? So, parang mas gusto nila na ganun yung mangyari. Marami siyang features na wala sa iba. Then, next po yung unexpected gains. Ito po yung these are potential benefits of a product or service that the customer doesn't even know one until it's introduced to them po. So, before po, di ba po, ang mga cellphone natin is dipindot. So, wala raw pong nanghihingin or nag-wish na magkaroon ng touchscreen na phone until nag-release po sila ng unang phone na touchscreen and nagustuhan po yun ng mga tao. So, up until now po, yung mga pinaproduce pa rin po natin or ng mga phone ngayon is puro touchscreen na kasi nagustuhan po siya ng mga mamimili. So, for our key takeaway po for our customer gains was that for an entrepreneur po to be successful, we must be able to clearly identify what is our customer gains are and tailor our own product or service offering to address those gains po. So, the more information po kasi na we have about our customer gains and the more the effective po yung value propositions natin. Yan, pag-usapan naman po natin yung customer pains. Sabi po dito, yung customer pains daw po are situations that prevent the customers from getting a job done or the negative experiences, emotions, and risks po na yung customer experience po during, before, or after a job. So, sa customer pains po, meron po tayong 4 types. So, first po yung productivity pains. Sa productivity pains po, tatandaan lang po natin na ito po yung pagkakaroon ng waste sa time. Why? Sa example ko po dito is that kapag nagkakaroon po ng unnecessary step sa buying process, like example po sa concert, meron po ako alam na concert na recently lang, nagkaroon po sila ng registrations before the ticket selling. Then yung iba po hindi po sila nakapag-register, so nung ticket selling na po, hindi po sila nakabili ng ticket kahit sa haba ng oras po nilang pinila. So, next po is yung support pains. Sa support pains, ito lang po yung lack of assistance. So, example, pupunta po kayo ng isang store, then may nagustuhan po kayong product pero hindi niya po gusto yung kulay. So, mag-a-ask po sana kayo for assistance if ever na may available na ibang color pero wala po kayo mapagtulungan. So, syempre, nakaka-frustrate po yun, di ba? So, next sa financial pains. Sa financial pains lang po, tatandaan lang po natin na ito po yung nag-i-involve ng money. So, ito po yung when the customer ends up spending more than he intended on a product or a business, or meron pong hidden subscription fees at checkouts, high maintenance fees, or lack of transparency in pricing. So, yung last po is the process pains or poor business processes. Ito po yung pain na nagkakreate po siya ng frictions for buyers because of substandard processes po within the business. Like example, a very long queue, a checkout, complicated procedures, or unnecessary steps po. Yun po yung mga process pains. So, for our key takeaways po for customer pains, We as an entrepreneur po must dig deeper into a root cause of customer pains to understand how important and how urgent those pains are. It is our responsibility to make those pains more bearable, or better yet, to completely eliminate them for our customers.
Now we move on to the JTBD, or Jobs to be Done framework. These frameworks explain what is the customer trying to accomplish in their personal or professional lives. In this framework, we have the functional jobs, which are the practical tasks or problems that the customers wants to solve. It focuses on usefulness and efficiency. And next, we also have a social jobs. These jobs involves how customers wanted to be seen by other people. It focuses on image, status, or belonging. And next is the emotional jobs, which refers to how customers wants to feel emotionally, and focuses on feelings, comfort, confidence, security, and happiness. And lastly, which is the sporting jobs. So these are the additional activities connected to the main job before, during, or after using a product or service. And this focuses on maintenance, setup, monitoring, or follow-up tasks. Value proposition. Value proposition is the reason why customers choose a product or service. It shows how a business helps customers and gives them value. Value proposition has three components, which are gain creators by explicitly outlines how the products and services create customer gains. In simple term, things that make customers happy or give them benefits. For example, discounts, fast service, or convenience. Pain relievers outlines how the products and services solves customers' pains or annoyance. For example, easy payment and good customer service. And lastly, the products and services, or the actual offering. It can be tangible, intangible, financial, or digital, or virtual. These products or services are built around the value proposition to help customers get a job done. For example, milk tea, online shopping app, or gym membership. The Lean Canvas was proposed by Ash Moria. It's a simple one-page business planning tool used by entrepreneurs and startups. It helps organize and test a business idea quickly. It also has more problem-focused approach, best suited for small entrepreneur and startup business, or focus on customer needs and actionable metrics, fast idea to produce information, and primarily for entrepreneurs, not customers, consultant, or investor. It has also a 9 parts or 9 elements that I will be discussing on the next slides. Moving on to the 9 elements of Lean Canvas, the first element is the problem. It lists the top 3 high priority problems the customer segments experiences. The primary question in this element is that how or what problem does the customer have? For example, students find studying difficult, so that's the problem that you wanted to resolve or provide service to your customer. Next is the solution. Solution is get through interviews, interviewing customers, learn from them, and then write a concise or specific solution, or how the business solves the problem. For example, an app with easy review lessons. Like, example po, yung Google Drive po, which could help a lot or help students a lot in organizing or organizing information. And next is the buyer proposition. As I discussed a while ago, it is 6 why customers should choose the products. And next is the unfair advantage, which is a competitive advantage that cannot be copied or bought. Good example of this po is the exclusive materials that we use in such things po, or something na rare or mahirap mahanap na mga materials. And next is the customer segments. Similar to BMC, the problem in the customer segment must always be directly connected. In short term po, customer segments is the target customer kung sino yung gusto mo bigyan ng service. Next element is the channel. Channel are the ways on how to reach the customer segments. For example po, through Facebook, TikTok, or any advertisement na pwede po natin makatch ang attention ng ating customer target. Next is the revenue stream, the money side. Startup offers start free or lower prices to gain traction. This is how the business earns money po. For example po, when we are using Canva, meron po siyang 14 days free trial po, and then later on, once the 14 days free trial, magbabayad na po tayo ng either monthly or yearly po. Yun na po yung good example po ng revenue stream or how the business earns money. And next is the cost structure. All operational costs to bring products to market. In simple terms po, ito po yung mga these are the expenses of the business. For example, internet, marketing, materials, maintenance, and such. And lastly, for our ninth element, key metrics. Key metrics are all business need metrics to track performance for startup. One strong metric is enough to start, then build on it. Track the right thing. Key metrics po is a measurement how business success or how the business will boom po. For example po, numbers of user on that certain product po or services, or numbers of sales. For our key takeaways, we have here value proposition canvas and lean canvas. Value proposition canvas was developed or designed by Alexander Osterwalder or Walder, as this ensures proper product market fit. We have here the customer profiles, which is, or as discussed a while ago, we have gains, pains, and jobs, and value proposition, which is pain creators, pain relievers, and product services. And the primary goal of value proposition canvas is to achieve the fit between both sides. And for our lead canvas that was developed by Ash Moria, is a problem-focused alternative for startup entrepreneurs. This has 9 elements, as I discussed a while ago. Again, problem, solution, value proposition, unfair advantage, customer segments, channels, revenue stream, cost structure, and key metrics. And the goal of this, or the goal of Lean Canvas, is to mainly use to turn ideas into testable business models without wasting time or money. And that sums up our reporting for chapter 2, chapter 3 and 4. Thank you.